UFC Fight Night 114's main card, which aired Saturday on FS1 from Mexico City Arena in Mexico, featured a mix of brutal knockouts and hard-fought decisions. Sergio Pettis, 162 MMA, 72 UFC, picked up his fourth consecutive victory in the headlining act when he delivered a superior performance to Brandon Moreno, 144 MMA, 31 UFC, and was rewarded with a unanimous decision victory in the matchup of rising flyweights. Alexa Grasso, 101 MMA, 21 UFC, Nico Price, 100 MMA, 20 UFC, Humberto Bandone, 144 MMA, 10 UFC, Sam Alvey, 319 MMA, 84 UFC, and Alejandro Perez, 1861 MMA, 411 UFC, got the hands raised as well. The wins ranged from highlight reel material to competitive fights decided on the scorecards. After every event, fans wonder whom the winners will be matched up with next. And with another night of UFC action in the rearview mirror, it's time to look forward. Put on a pair of Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard's shoes, and play UFC Matchmaker for UFC Fight Night 114's winning fighters. Alejandro Perez. Joe Soto should fight Joe Soto. Why they should fight the Ultimate Fighter Latin America winner Perez put on another winning performance when he edged Andres Ocampaz by split decision in a fight in which he made a bit of history. Perez became the first fighter in UFC history to suffer 3 knockdowns in a fight and come back to win on the scorecards. It's a remarkable accomplishment, even if some believe he should have gotten the nod in the bantamweight affair. With just 1 defeat in 6 UFC appearances so far, Perez is putting himself in position to be someone capable of making noise at 135 pounds. Soto, 185 MMA, 33 UFC, is on a solid run in his own right, with 3 consecutive wins. The former title challenger would be a strong test for Perez, who would benefit to fighting a name like Soto. Sam Alvey. Vitor Belfort should fight Vitor Belfort. Why they should fight despite a lack of action? Alvey picked up the signature win of his 40-fight career when he edged former UFC light heavyweight champion Rashad Evans by split decision. Alvey narrowly outpointed Evans in the middleweight bout, giving him his 8th victory since he joined the UFC in 2014. After the fight, Alvey called out another former UFC champion in Belfort, 2,613 MMA, 159 UFC, and his reasoning actually comes with a line of logic. Smilin said he wants to go on a vengeance tour, fighting those who have beaten his longtime friend, mentor and training partner, Dan Henderson. Evans beat Henderson in 2013, and Belfort actually has 2 victories over the former Pride and Strikeforce champ under the UFC banner. Belfort is coming off a unanimous decision victory over Nathan Marquardt at UFC 212 in June. The Phenom said he's looking to make a run at 185 pounds once again, but he needs to beat some more middling fighters in the division before he can get there. In that case, Alvey is the perfect matchup. Humberto Bandone. Jared Gordon should fight Jared Gordon. Why they should fight? As far as UFC debuts go, Bandone's win was about as good as it gets. Not only did he pick up a highlight reel knockout courtesy of a perfectly timed knee, but he got the job done in a mere 26 seconds against Martin Bravo. Bandone was the biggest batting underdog on the card. However, that didn't prevent him from stealing the spotlight for himself with a performance of the night effort. The nature of his victory instantly gives him traction as one to watch in the featherweight division, where there's a plethora of top competition. Gordon, 131 MMA, 10 UFC, is also coming off a solid UFC debut win when he stopped Michel Quinones by second-round TKO at UFC Fight Night 112 in June. The Flash not only owns a strong record, but his trying life story proves he's not going to quit easily. Chances are he would go down as quickly as Bandone's first opponent, and that's when the fight will get interesting. Nico Price. Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos should fight Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. Why they should fight? Price's quick start to his UFC career continued when he earned what should have been his 3rd victory in under 6 months. One was overturned for a positive marijuana test with a first-round TKO over a tough UFC veteran in Alan Jouban. Price extended his undefeated record to 100, but the win over Jouban easily was his most significant. It was the first time Dubin suffered a truly unexpected loss inside the octagon, and that's proof of what Price is capable of in the welterweight division. Zaleski dos Santos, 175 MMA, 31 UFC, is hoping to break through in 2 big fights after a fight of the night win over Lyman Good at UFC on Fox 25. With both men coming off bonus-winning performances, pitting them against each other to see who can reach the next level is the right idea. Alexa Grasso. Angela Hill should fight Angela Hill. Why they should fight? Grasso rebounded from the first loss of her career when she defeated Randa Marcos, one of the most durable strawweight fighters on the roster, by split decision. The Mexican prospect suffered a setback to Felice Herrig earlier this year, but the performance against Marcos proved it was just that, a setback. Although the result was debatable, Grasso showed improvement, and now the 23-year-old has momentum back on her side in the 115-pound weight class. Grasso still has strides to make before joining the conversation of contenders who could possibly fight champion Joanna Jędrzejczyk. There are many names she can fight en route to getting there, though, and a foe like Hill, 73 MMA, 23 UFC, would be a rightful fit. Hill has faced some elite names in her division, and while SHES come up short in most of those opportunities, SHES never been embarrassed. Grasso would have a tough time being the first, but a win in itself would mean a lot. Sergio Pettis should fight winner of Henry Cejudo vs. Wilson Rice at UFC 215. Why they should fight? Watch the video above to see why Pettis should fight the winner of Cejudo 102 MMA, 42 UFC vs. Rice 227 MMA, 63 UFC at UFC 215. For complete coverage of UFC Fight Night 114, check out the UFC events section of the site.